Ironically, I think markets are pretty calm about things because in one sense, objectively, it's pretty clear what's going on. It's clear where the uncertainty is. I mean, I think nobody knows how this is going to end. It does look as if there's a consensus now that the deal won't go through as it is. But the deal not going through, it's, as Steve has been pointing out, it's clear what Parliament's opposed to, which is it appears that there's a majority that doesn't want a no-deal scenario, but it's not at all clear what the positive resolution is. It's not at all clear to me that most of the things that people are talking about actually resolve much, which is, suspend Article 50, well, you're kind of back to square one uncertainty-wise. You have another referendum, nobody knows what the result is, nobody even knows what the question will be. It's not at all, you might have a lower turnout, you could be arguing about another referendum for another 3 years. But markets kind of know this and are sort of saying, well, we've got a whole set of scenarios, including no deal. It looks as if people's perceptions now is that nothing's calamitous. Right? So if you look at the behaviour of sterling, I would say the behaviour of sterling is quite extraordinary in many ways. The low against cable was about, 123. Sterling's actually been doing surprisingly strong over the last 6 to 9 months, given how bad the news has been, given that the probabilities of no deal have increased. And then you look at, UK assets, the FTSE, 70% of earnings are overseas. Even the very negative scenarios for the UK economy, maybe there's a mild recession, nobody really knows, but I don't think anybody thinks it's calamitous. So in a sense, markets are kind of ignoring it. I think the world is ignoring it. The real damage here, I think, is being done to the political class. And I think the politicians should be looking in the mirror this morning and say, whose behalf are they actually acting on? I mean, the reality is, whatever you think of this deal, it is a way of ensuring that the referendum is being honoured, because the UK would leave the EU. And I think it's about political class fighting for their own little objectives, and they're taking some pretty big risks. I mean, if you vote against this deal, you are running the risk that it never happens and you have a whole new set of uncertainty. So to me, this is an event primarily about the political class. I'm not even convinced the population is that exercised about it or that divided about it. And I think they have to ask themselves some serious questions about that.
If you just look at the way sterling's traded today, the Hillary Benn amendment, once that has been pulled, effectively we've seen sterling tick lower. So is it then clear to assume that what the trade is telling us is that the pound, at least today, and those trading pound want a deal to go through?
I think, there's lots of different scenarios. I think everybody now, expects the deal doesn't go through. I think it'll be a huge positive surprise for people in general, actually, if the deal did go through. People are anticipating that it won't. I think, though, there's very high conviction at the moment that there won't be no deal. But I think even if people consider a no deal, I think people that's the most likely the worst economic scenario, but we don't really know how to measure it, and we don't think it'll be calamitous. I mean, we think so I think what markets are kind of telling you, what sterling is telling you, is that you just don't have a huge amount of downside. This is not really about the UK economy. I mean, there's potentially some damage to be done. There's obviously underlying uncertainty. It hasn't been good for the economy, that's clear. But I think this is primarily about, it's about politics. How does the population perceive the political class when they're behaving like this? I mean, it's clear that there needs to be a consensus. Right? They're all fighting for their own little factions, their own little objectives. They're playing games with whether there's going to be a no confidence vote, how they're going to do in the election. They are not putting the public interest first and foremost. And I think they need to be very careful about that, because I think there's going to be a political cost, to people's perception and democratic process, and that's very important.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.